Ever wish you could read more books but just can't seem to get started? Like, you see all these people on Instagram with their cute little book stacks and aesthetic reading vlogs and you're like, wow, I want that to be me. But then you pick up a book, read half a page, and suddenly your phone is in your hand and you've been scrolling for an hour. It's a whole thing, I get it. The pressure to be a reader feels so intense sometimes, almost like it's this exclusive club you can't get into. But what if I told you that's not true at all? Honestly, becoming a reader isn't some big, scary secret. It's not about having a specific personality type or being like super intellectual or whatever. It's really just about finding what works for you and making it a little part of your life. Kind of like how you remember to drink water sometimes. We're going to break it down into super simple, actually doable steps. No weird, complicated advice here. Just real stuff that has helped me go from someone who only read when they had to for school to someone who genuinely gets excited about it. So, if you've ever felt that little pang of wanting to get lost in a story but felt overwhelmed by where to even begin, this video is for you. We're going to go through some tips and tricks that I swear will help you unlock your inner bookworm. We're talking about turning reading from a chore into something you actually look forward to. By the end of this, you'll be ready to build your own little library and finally understand what all the hype is about. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, let's talk about goals. I know the word goal can feel like a lot of pressure, like you have to climb a mountain or something, but we're starting small, like microscopic. I'm talking about setting a daily reading goal of just 10 minutes. That's it, it's literally less time than it takes to choose something to watch on Netflix. You could do it while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, or right before you go to sleep instead of that last-minute doom scroll. It's about tricking your brain, you know? 10 minutes feels so achievable that your brain can't even come up with a good excuse not to do it. The whole point of this isn't to finish a book in a week. Forget about that for now. The point is to build a habit, to make picking up a book as automatic as brushing your teeth. Consistency is so much more important than intensity here. Reading for 10 minutes every single day for a month is way more impactful than reading for 2 hours one random Sunday and then not touching a book again for weeks. It's like watering a plant. A little bit every day keeps it alive and growing. You're just watering your new reading habit. And what you'll find is that sometimes those 10 minutes will turn into 15 or 20 or maybe even an hour because you get so into the story you forget about the time. But there's no pressure for that to happen. If you just do your 10 minutes and close the book, that's a huge win. You're showing up for yourself and for this new little ritual. It's about creating a tiny, non-negotiable space in your day for reading. And that small commitment is honestly the foundation for everything else. It's the first step to becoming a person who just reads. Alright, this next tip might sound almost too simple, but it's a game changer, I promise. You need to start carrying a book with you everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Treat it like your phone or your keys. It should just be a standard part of your leaving the house checklist. Whether it's a physical paperback that you can stuff in your tote bag or an ebook on your phone, just having it with you opens up so many hidden pockets of reading time you never knew you had. It's about being prepared for the moments of nothingness that happen all day. Think about it. You're waiting in line for a coffee, standing on a crowded train, waiting for a friend who's running late, or sitting in a doctor's waiting room. What do you normally do? You pull out your phone and scroll, right? It's pure muscle memory. But if you have a book right there, you have an alternative. You can choose to dive into a different world for 5 minutes instead of looking at your ex's cousin's vacation photos. It turns those boring, in-between moments into opportunities. It's like finding free time you didn't know you had. This strategy completely removes the friction of having to go and get a book. The book is already there waiting for you. It becomes the path of least resistance. Over time, you'll start to automatically reach for your book instead of your phone in those moments. It's another one of those little habit-forming tricks. You're not scheduling a reading session, you're just filling the empty spaces with stories. It makes reading feel less like a formal event and more like a casual, integrated part of your daily life, which is exactly what we're going for. So, you're starting to read a little bit every day, you've got your book with you, but sometimes it can feel a little bit lonely, right? Like you're in this amazing fictional world, but you have nobody to talk to about it. This is where finding your people comes in. Joining a book club or some kind of online reading community can be the secret ingredient that keeps you motivated. It transforms reading from a solitary activity into a shared experience, which, for a lot of us, is way more fun and sustainable. It's like watching a TV show. It's great on your own, but it's even better when you can text your friends about the cliffhanger. It doesn't have to be a super formal wine and cheese book club, unless that's your vibe, then go for it. It could be as simple as finding a book-focused Discord server, following some book talk or bookstagram creators and joining in the comments, or even just starting a group chat with a couple of friends who also want to read more. The goal is to create a space where you can gush about characters, complain about plot twists, and get recommendations from people who get it. It adds a layer of accountability too. Knowing you have a meeting or a discussion coming up can be the little push you need to finish that chapter. Honestly, sharing your reading journey makes it so much richer. You start to see things in the book that you might have missed because someone else points them out. You discover new books you never would have picked up on your own. It just builds this positive feedback loop of excitement and discovery. You're not just reading a book anymore. You're part of a conversation, a community. And that feeling of connection is so powerful. It can be the thing that keeps you coming back to reading, long after your initial motivation has faded. Okay, let's talk about atmosphere. Environment is everything. I mean, you could technically read a book while standing in a cold, brightly lit kitchen, but why would you want to? Creating a dedicated, cozy reading space is like sending a formal invitation to your brain that says, hey, it's time to relax and get lost in a story. It doesn't have to be a whole library room with a rolling ladder, as cool as that would be. It can be super simple. It's about designating one specific spot that is just for reading. It could be a comfy armchair in the corner of your room, a pile of pillows on the floor, or even just one side of your couch. The key is to make this spot as inviting as possible. Think about what makes you feel comfortable and relaxed. Maybe it's a soft blanket, a good lamp with warm light so you're not straining your eyes, and a little side table for a cup of tea or coffee. You want to create a sensory experience that your brain starts to associate with the pleasure of reading. When you sit down in your spot, it's a signal to your body and mind to switch off from the stress of the day and switch on to story time. It's a ritual. Having this dedicated space removes the decision-making process. When it's time to read, you know exactly where to go. You're not wandering around your apartment trying to find a comfortable place to land. You just go to the spot. It makes cracking open a book feel like a little luxury, a deliberate act of self-care. It romanticizes the experience, and honestly, we could all use a little more of that. You're not just reading, you're having a moment. And that makes the habit so much more appealing and easier to stick with. This last tip is maybe the most important one of all, especially if you're just starting out. You have to explore different genres, seriously. So many people think they don't like reading when what they actually mean is they haven't found the type of book they like yet. It's like saying you don't like music after only listening to, I don't know, classical opera. There's a whole world of other sounds out there. The same is true for books. The literary world is massive and beautifully weird. And your perfect genre is probably hiding in a section of the bookstore you've never even looked at before. If you've only ever tried to read dense classic literature because you felt like you should and you hated it, that's okay. Put it down. Go pick up a fast-paced thriller, a cheesy romance novel, a mind-bending science fiction epic, or a hilarious memoir. Try graphic novels, which are amazing, or dive into a fantasy series with dragons and magic. There's no right or wrong thing to read. The only goal is to find something that you genuinely enjoy, something that makes you forget you're even reading. Don't be afraid to date around with books. Pick something up, read the first 50 pages, and if you're not feeling it, drop it. Life is too short to force yourself to finish a book you're not enjoying. That's a one-way ticket to a reading slump. The more you explore, the more you'll learn about your own taste. Maybe you'll discover you love historical fiction, or maybe you're a sucker for a good self-help book. Keeping things fresh and exciting is key. It turns reading from a task into an adventure of discovery. And that's when you really truly become a bookworm. So there you have it. Those are my super simple, hopefully not at all intimidating tips for unlocking your inner bookworm. It's not about some overnight transformation. It's about the small things. The 10 minutes before bed, the book you keep in your bag, the cozy corner you create for yourself. It's about giving yourself permission to explore and to find what brings you joy. without any pressure or expectations. Reading isn't a measure of intelligence. It's a form of escape, of empathy, and of fun. And it's available to absolutely everyone. Remember, anyone can become a bookworm. All it takes is a little curiosity and the right habits. Don't be discouraged if it feels weird at first, or if you miss a day. Just pick the book back up tomorrow. The stories are always there, waiting for you. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small wins. Finishing a chapter is a win. Reading for 5 minutes in a line is a win. Finding a book you're actually excited about is a huge win. This is your personal journey, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. I'm so curious to hear what works for you guys. Every reader has their own little secret tricks. So please, I'd love it if you could share your favorite reading tip in the comments below. What helps you stay motivated? What's a book that completely changed the game for you? Let's build a little community of ideas down there and help each other out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Go find a good story. I'll see you in the next one.